Welcome to Dartmouth College. I'm here at the top of the hop. I'm your host, Elizabeth Durazio, and I'm joined by the town manager of Hanover, Julia Griffin, and we're going to talk about the Solarize project, which is a great way that the town is bringing efficient solar energy to the community. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Today we're having a sunny day, so we know that solar works, but the great news is solar even works when it's cloudy.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about the Solarize project and how it's affecting our community here.
So Solarize Phase 2 is just midway through implementation in the Upper Valley. Vital Communities brought the Solarize program to the Upper Valley last year. They did round 1. We're part of the round 2 set of 10 communities that are trying to encourage residents to install solar on their properties. We had great response. We did 253 site visits. So 253 individual properties had Energy Emporium, our selected installers based in Enfield, do visits to their properties to determine the feasibility of solar. And 62 households, including yours truly, signed a contract to have solar panels installed on their home. We also decided to step up and install solar panels on either our police station or our library, the Howe Library building. We haven't determined which is probably the most feasible yet, but we're committed to doing $62,000 worth of solar panel installations on one of those two facilities. The exciting part about the Solarize program is it's a very targeted approach that makes it, that motivates individuals to do solar installations.
Right.
It's facilitated by the existence of a $3,750 rebate from the state of New Hampshire and a 30% tax credit from the federal government that expires next year. So take my installation, for example. It's about a $20,000 installation to get 6.5 kilowatts of power generated from my solar panels. But when you subtract the state rebate and the 30% tax credit, it brings the price tag down to about $12,500, which has a payback of about 8 to 10 years. So my husband and I decided we're committed to staying in our home for that long. It's a no-brainer.
It also adds value to your home too. That's another thing people have to remember is there are people who are looking to buy, particularly in this area with the weather we have, who are looking for broad solutions to energy, not just strictly one source.
Especially what we're hearing from real estate brokers is the younger generation of homeowners. Folks in their 20s, 30s, and 40s are looking for energy efficiency as part of a house when they're looking at homes to purchase. And whereas solar installations in California have been popular on the real estate market for the last 5 years, they're gaining popularity on the East Coast. But we didn't do it so much for resale value. We did it because we think it's the right thing to do for the environment. And the Solarize program with the state rebate and the federal rebate really cuts the cost almost in half for a solar installation, which begins to feel like something households can afford to do.
And solar's come a long way even from when it became popular in California, 20 or so years ago. They've become a lot more efficient. They are more affordable. And the biggest fear people have is, what happens if I have a week of rain and gray? Well, there's ways that the batteries can store the power, things like that. So there really isn't an excuse if you're living in the Northeast and you think you're going to do solar to just say, it's too cloudy out. Doesn't buy it anymore.
No, and the net metering allows you to get credit from your electricity supplier on those gorgeous summer days when you're generating more electricity from your panels than your household actually uses. So, the net metering is a huge benefit to all of us, and I think we're going to start to see more and more panels installed around New England as a result of the Solarize program, which was initially launched in California and in Connecticut and was incredibly successful in those two states. So Vital Communities, which is a great regional nonprofit, tackled this for our region, and it's pretty exciting to see the results so far.
It's almost town meeting season, so not one more thing to make you go crazy with, but a couple key things maybe real quick that we can expect at the town meeting.
Folks will appreciate the dilemma of the need for a salt shed.
Yes.
Salt sheds, you say, why would I want to talk about a salt shed?
Just build a giant statue of it in the middle of the quad. Everyone will be happy.
The town of Hanover has a very old salt shed which is leaning precariously to one side and needs to be replaced. And so we've got a request of town meeting to spend $400,000 from a reserve fund to replace our salt shed. But more importantly, communities are finding the need for larger salt sheds because as climate change has occurred and you're seeing more severe snowstorms and icing events around this region and quite frankly in other parts of the country, salt is in shorter supply and the price has gone up. To to the extent you have a bigger storage facility and you can buy your salt earlier and in larger quantities,
Save money.
you save money and you guarantee your access even when, as you get into March, there may be a shortage. The other thing we're looking at is the purchase of a piece of property at 46 Lebanon Street, right across from the high school, right next to our current community center. We purchased 44 Lebanon Street at town meeting last year. We have the ability to build a gymnasium addition onto our Richard W. Black Community Center, and we need both of those pieces of property in order to make that happen.
So we better show up at town meeting.
We need folks to come out and get engaged in that issue.
Will do. Well, I want to thank the town manager of Hanover, Julia, for joining us and giving us the updates on these programs. And make sure you check out the town website and keep up to date, particularly if you live here. Sounds like they're working on some good things to help you out.